the dark feminine, that which is calling you and about every single woman in the planet right now. You can see it here in YouTube. Everybody has a spin. Oh, what is that? Today, I'm going to give you my take with stories, with the literature, so that you are able to find the gold in that we have forgotten. So, what is the dark feminine? They are aspects of the feminine psyche that have been suppressed, repressed, vilified, forgotten in our society. In other words, are those elements of the feminine psyche that have been labeled crazy, bad, evil. Just think about the wild woman, the untamed, the unapologetic woman. Those are the witches. Those are the ones who don't want really close to your children because they might eat them. They are angry. They are fierce. They can also be seductive and dangerously powerful. So if they are so bad, why do we need to talk about them? Why isn't it a good idea to continue repressing? But the thing is, if we keep trying to not invite them to the party, they will come with all the rage to our life, precisely in the moments when we don't want to see them. On the contrary, if you invite them to the party of your life, they will help you, they will empower you to become a truly mature, a truly three-dimensional woman. This is the great gift of owning your own shadow. And by the way, Owning Your Own Shadow is the title of a book that I really recommend you to read this time. Is a lot of inspiration. It's actually the one that got me started, possibly. Yeah, it's the one that got me started into all this research of Jungian psychology and all the other things that I will be sharing with you, and I have been learning for all these years. So, Robert Johnson, Owning Your Own Shadow. What happens when you have a two-dimensional drawing? It's boring. It's childish. That is when we are young and we just continue being two-dimensional. We are just lovely. And we can die lovely. But what if we see our life as an adventure and we want to die as a full grown up woman instead of, from dying like a seed or dying like a tree? This is the gift of the dark feminine. So the idea is that Carl Jung noticed that there are stories that keep repeating in our lives. Constantly, they just keep repeating. It doesn't matter if you are from this country or that country or from this century or the other century. These are stories that we just keep repeating. And these stories, he called them archetypes, archetypal stories, butchering English. These are primitive mental images inherited from our ancestors. This is the way my mother lived, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and we just keep repeating themselves. And Jung said these stories are in the collective unconscious. So that means that in the collective, in all society, we find these stories, the stories of the witch, the stories of the maiden, the stories of the queen. It's very beautiful when you study all the Jungians, they always have stories. And when you see the stories of the Inuit and the stories of the Aztecs and the stories of the Egyptians, they are the very same stories. As you will see in the internet, there are so many ideas of there are so many archetypes of the feminine, archetypes of the masculine, archetypes used for branding. It is a lot of confusion. So in this video, I want to keep it very, very succinct. I'm going to stay with 4 archetypes. And you're going to notice that this view is very complete. If you find it actually inspires you to see life as a spiral. If you see this metaphor, you are going to be able to incorporate any other story that you see outside these 4 archetypes just in these stories. So let's look at the archetype of the mother. The archetype of the mother is the mature way of loving. It is the mature way of nurturing children, nurturing the land, nurturing your own body, nurturing society. So it is what teaches us how to take care of, how to take care of a business, how to take care of a piece of land. And the thing is that we have to learn to do it. And to be able to learn to do it, there are 2 ways in which we can get it wrong. The 2 ways of getting it wrong is when we just pay too much attention to things or when we don't. The mother that pays too much attention, it she behaves like she owns the child, that she owns the company, is the over controlling person. And I find that so, it's almost scary. The devouring mother. Think about Hansel and Gretel. Is the story of the children that so want candies that they are invited in this house made of candy. And they are given candy as much as they want because they will be eaten later. So is this mother that is absolutely lovely to you and wants to keep you inside and wants to keep you inside and wants to keep you inside so that you don't grow, and afterwards she can manipulate you in whatever way. You know, it's the narcissistic mother that eats her narcissistic supply from you. Are you that? Are you having relationships in which you are trying to control everything, trying to control your husband, trying to control your children, trying to control your company, your colleagues, your customers, trying to control everything? And now that I do this with my hands, I realize that if you have pain in the hands and you are feeling like trying to control, this could be what you are learning right now. So the other side of the dark feminine is the distant mother. The distant mother is exactly the opposite, but radically the opposite. Just let it be. It's just going to happen. And I put it as masochist because he's, the one that suffers and everything just happens to her. My children misbehave. I cannot do anything about it. This is a woman that is helpless. Everything is happening for her. Ah, everything is so heavy, and I am so weak that I cannot deal with life. We are guilty of both things, of being too soft and sweet and letting life smash us, This is what we see nowadays. Oh my God, everybody's a victim. Oh, they did to me microaggressions. Oh, poor little me. And these two ways, the distant mother and the devouring mother, uh, dark sides of the psyche of the divine feminine, they keep us away from really true good relationships as caretakers. What we need to do is to integrate them. To integrate it doesn't mean that 50% of the time I'm masochist and 50% of the time I'm a sadist. Is to integrate both in a bigger reality. That is the mother that can listen, that is the mother that can help, is a mother that can give, and is a mother who can also take a step back. So you can look, you can see this beautiful mother in great archetypes. Like for me, the greatest archetype is the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary didn't keep Jesus to herself in her house because she wanted him to stay there. She actually took him to his work. To the wedding of Cana was his first job, and she took him. So by no means a devouring mother or a distant mother will ever do that, because the distant mother will not get involved and the devouring mother will not let him out of the house. When you let your company, your children, your husband be, you set the space, you hold the space for what happens, beautiful things happen. That is true leadership. The archetype of the mother is true leadership. And the only way to get there is by integrating owning the darkness of the devouring mother that lives within you, of the distant mother that lives within you. Second archetype. This is the lover. We're in so much pain about the lover these days. We see just plenty of dark feminine in the seductive. My God. You see the OnlyFans galore. Everybody's trying to be seductive. The big décolleté, the short skirts. We want to attract the lover, and it's hyper as civilized society that we live nowadays. And this is nothing else but addiction. It's not really to honoring intimacy. It is just to keep it to a very superficial level. But the other side is the virginal, the frigid, the I don't talk about that subject because I cannot even pronounce it. Oh, the S word. I'm not talking about that. So to have intimate relationships, you need both. You need to integrate how long the skirt is going to be. You are going to integrate how big the décolleté is going to be. You're going to integrate when you are with your husband in an intimate situation, how open you are going to be, how present you are going to be. The lover, the grown up, three-dimensional lover, is divine because he's magnetic, is seductive in a way that is not addictive or frigid. This is our aim. And the only way to do it is by integrating both. Next archetype. The next archetype is about power. And this subject about power, I also see it everywhere. All these women talking about boss babe, we can do it. We don't need a man. A man, what for? Those are the tyrants. And they are more manly than men. They are the ones who just fire people, the ones who don't listen to anybody. They are the tyrants. In the other hand, we have many, also plenty of them, that are in the world of being weak. The ones who cannot speak in a meeting, the ones who cannot have their say. And what is the mature version of that? Is the royal you, the one that can say no, the one that can say now, or even I want this. Because this is a problem that I see in my practice very often, that women cannot even say what is what they want. What? Is so, it really hurts my heart terribly that we don't even know what we want. Actually, I'm going to link a video here because I made a video specifically on the problem that we don't know how to deal with life because we don't know what we want. And this is precisely because we have not owned our darkness of being the tyrant. Because we have said, oh, it's so bad to be the tyrant. And maybe you need a little bit of that. So start becoming more tyrannical about what you're going to eat, about when you're going to eat, about when you're going to sleep or when you're going to the toilet. Start with those things that are very simple and start leveling up your tyranny towards, what you're going to wear. You're not supposed to wear the same as everybody else is wearing. You can wear what you want. You don't need to follow the fashion. You can be tyrannical in that sense. You see, this blouse that maybe is not very visible in the video is super old. It was from my mom. Not fashionable in the least, but it's black, very good for the dark feminine. Start embodying your dark side of the queen. If you are too much of a tyrant, it starts to become more the weakling. If you're too much of the weakling, it starts to become more a tyrant so that you start embodying that queen. And finally, my favorite one, the wise woman. The wise woman is, God, is so seldom depicted, because has been vilified tremendously in the past centuries. The wise woman should be like that witch, but that is a wise witch, a white witch that is very old, that knows, that flies, that is uh, so all-knowing, so present, that understands things before they are explained, the wise woman. And we don't know much about her because, of course, that was forbidden. In fact, many women were killed for being wise, for being these doctors that heal emotional and physical illnesses. So we think of the wise woman. Even when you look for the wise woman online, you find witches. And in fact, the witch, in this sense, as a dark element, as an underdeveloped wise woman, is the one that knows that can manipulate you and will do it. I can tell you, I was just so good at that. When I was younger, I had a very highly developed witch that I learned to manipulate and I learned how to say and when to say. It is so dark. It can be so dangerous, so addictive, so in the borderline of narcissism. This one is dangerous because it not only burns your relationship, but it can burn you. It can burn your own self-belief, your own self-love. Is dangerous, the witch. But it's indispensable because otherwise we don't become wise. So the detached manipulator is the one that manipulates behavior from others. But when it's used with wisdom, is the one who influences people as a leader. Imagine that, how you could be the wise woman at work if you are the CEO of your company. That would be just whew, fantastic if you can integrate the witch with the fool. Now, the fool is just so wonderful and is the reason why it's at the end of these four archetypes, because the fool is just like the fool in the tarot, is the one who is so naive that will start something, even when she doesn't realize how incompetent she is. We need the fool. You could say the fool is stupid. You need the fool to be so naive to take action, even if she doesn't know how. This is the innocent. But what is really interesting about this fool is that it's innocent in a way that is denying its wisdom. So when you're able to take that supposed naivete of the fool and this evil manipulation of the witch, and you marry them and you transmute them, you become that wise woman, this three-dimensional woman that you are meant to be. So the invitation with all this video, with the four archetypes, is for you to marry these two parts of your psyche. How are you going to do that? You are going to pay attention. Pay attention during the week how you behave, in which ways are you criticizing yourself? What are you doing during the week that mm, that you disapprove of? What are the judgments that you are giving yourself? Oh, I was so naive. I was so aggressive. Oh, I should speak up. Especially this self-criticism comes with the word should. Just pay attention during the week when you say I should. And come back to this video and look in which category of these 8 it fits. You are being too much of a fool. You are being too much of a devouring mother. So look at the other side of the dark feminine and feel how you could be moving into an integration. Now, this is possible, of course, to do by yourself, but it is one, very difficult to do it by yourself. And it's easy that you could get lost because, particularly intelligent women, we tend to lie to ourselves because this work implies a lot of courage. So you need to do it in a container with a coach, in a container with a group of women together in a sisterhood. It is indispensable that you don't do this alone, even if you can, because what we are wanting, women, to awaken the divine feminine is community. So if you're wanting that, I can help you. I'm putting the first comment below how you can work with me and how I can help you. Because definitely, to do this work, you need a container. I wish you all the best, and let us indeed own our own shadow. Have a wonderful day and week. The best.